Today is Wednesday, September the 9th, and I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. So, I'm back recording another episode today for people to listen to or watch, whatever you prefer to do. All right, what to talk about. Okay, so my throat's a little bit scratchy. For those listening to the podcast, I'm taking a sip of water. Those watching, obviously, you see me about to take a sip of water. Okay. All right. So today is definitely a little bit better than yesterday. Yesterday was interesting to say the least. I I guess I'm just going with the flow is what I'm doing right now, which sometimes that's all you can do is ride the wave. And I decided to discuss people talking to other people and offering opinions. The title of the episode is Don't Let Too Many People in Your Ear. Now, if you're new to the show, whether you're watching or listening, what I usually do is I talk and then I work my way into what the title of the show is about for the daily thought. So, I will tell you a story back. Wow, time goes by. That was, goodness, we're in 2020. That was almost 14 years ago, I think. Actually, no, because that was 2000. No, that had to be 2004. Yeah, 2004. So that was 16 years ago. Wow. Okay. Sheesh. All right. I'm realizing on camera like how long ago it was. For those who may not know, I live in Los Angeles. This is my second time. Have something in my eye for those who are watching me on camera. I can't tell if it's an eyelash or what. But this is my second time living in Los Angeles. I've been back in Los Angeles since 2010. Yeah. December 2010 is when I moved back to Los Angeles, and I've been here ever since. So it'll be 10 years this December. But before that, I lived in Los Angeles from January 2004 to June 2006. And that's the time I'm talking about. But the story I'm about to tell you happened during 2004 because that's when I lived in Marina Del Rey. So I had roommates when I lived in Marina Del Rey because that's when I was in school and stuff. So had roommates. And one of my roommates asked me to go out to get something to eat. He's like, hey, do you want to get something to eat? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? Whatever. I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay. I'm like, so where are we going? He's like, well, where do you want to go? And I forgot the name of the place. For those who may live in Los Angeles or are familiar with Los Angeles and know the West LA side, which is where Marina Del Rey is at, Santa Monica, all of that stuff, Culver City, that area, there is a restaurant near Via Marina, and I forgot the name of it. It is like a tropical burger place or something. It's right near Via Marina, if I'm not mistaken. Like Via Marina, I think in Lincoln, possibly. Do I have that? No. Via Marina is right near, I don't know if the Cheesecake Factory is still over there anymore. But anyways, there was like this tropical place. It's Hawaiian themed or whatever, but I know they specialized in burgers or sandwiches or something. And we used to eat there a lot, but I wasn't in the mood for that. But it was right near where we lived at. So I wasn't in the mood for that. And I told my roommate that, forgot the name of the place because I haven't been there forever. So then he's like, well, let's go to Jerry's Deli. I'm like, Jerry's Deli? What the hell is that? And he's like, you haven't been to Jerry's Deli? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, well then yeah, let's just go to Jerry's Deli. You'll like it, you'll like it. And I'm like, I don't even know what they have. He said, trust me, you'll be able to find something on their menu. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. All right. So we head to Jerry's Deli. We sit down. I pull out the menu. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted before we made it to Jerry's Deli, even though I had never been to Jerry's Deli, because it's like deli, even though I didn't know what it was, anything with the word deli in it, I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess I'll get, a turkey sandwich or something like that, is what I'm thinking in my head. All right. So we get to Jerry's Deli in Marina Del Rey, and I pull out this menu. When I tell you I was overwhelmed by the menu because I had never seen a menu with so much stuff on it, because I hadn't been to the Cheesecake Factory yet. Even though the Cheesecake Factory was near us, we never ate there. Well, my roommates did, but I didn't. I didn't eat at the Cheesecake Factory, which is weird because cheesecake is one of my favorite foods, or actually my favorite dessert. But I had never eaten there. So I didn't know that Jerry's Deli's, their menu was pretty much like the Cheesecake Factory menu with all the stuff on it. But anyways, so I pull out this menu and I see all of these dishes and stuff and appetizers and entrees and drinks and everything else. And I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute. I had an idea of what I wanted, but now, with all of this stuff in front of me, I'm going to need a minute. And my roommate, he knew what he wanted because he had eaten there several times. Because I didn't go out to eat like that. Usually I would cook. Usually I'll cook inside. This thing is still in my eye. But since it was my first time there, my roommate was very accommodating by waiting on me. It took me probably a good 10 to 15 minutes to figure out what I wanted, because I'm trying to scan through this phone book of a menu, for those who remember phone books, through this phone book of a menu to see what I want to eat or what I can eat, because they have anything and everything at Jerry's Deli. The name, if you've never eaten at Jerry's Deli, trust me, whatever you can think of is more than likely on the menu. So I ended up getting the shepherd's pie, is what I believe it was. I think it was the shepherd's pie I ended up buying or ordering. It had that, which it was good. It was really good. But it's amazing how before I went to Jerry's Deli and on the way, I kind of had an idea of what I may order based off of the name. But when I get to Jerry's Deli, all of these options are in front of me, and it just threw me out of whack. And my roommate is waiting on me to figure out what I want to order. The same thing can apply with a bunch of opinions being in your ear. That's why I tell that story to tell you, don't let too many people in your ear. You may already know what you want to do. But then you happen to tell someone in passing, whether it's your mother, whether it's your father, auntie, uncle, cousin, sister, brother, co-worker, best friend, whatever. And then they hear about it. And even though the advice is not solicited, they'll offer up their advice and opinion to you anyway. So now you're taking in that opinion. And then if somebody else had heard about it, then you're taking in that opinion. And then you're taking in another opinion. And then you're taking in another opinion. And then you're taking in another opinion. And rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And it's like, wait a minute. I had an idea of what I wanted to do or what I planned on doing. But now that everybody's thrown all this information at me, all of their opinions at me, all of this advice at me, I'm not sure which way I want to go now. I had my eye on two things, on two roads, but all of a sudden, because a bunch of people are in my ear, now I have 10 roads to choose from. When, if I would have picked from one of the two roads, I would have made it to my destination just fine. That's why I say, don't let too many people in your ear. It's in the best way to do that is usually to move in silence. You don't have to always let people know what you're doing. And I take that approach sometimes. I usually don't tell people what I'm doing until it's done, until I've done it. And then if they want to offer their opinions or advice or whatever, after the fact, fine, I might listen to it, I might tune it out, I might tell them I don't care, depending on what day you catch me on. It's one of those things. So just be careful letting too many people in your ear. Because if you do, they'll send you off on a road going over hills and mountains and down trails and valleys and rivers and lakes and doing all this other stuff when you could have taken a straight shot that you had already selected all along until someone came in your ear and said this, that, and the third. Where if they wouldn't have known what your plans were or what you were looking to do, you wouldn't have had the extra stuff. Now, I add a caveat to everything, and this is no exception. It's always good to get feedback. Feedback is a gift. For those who have worked at T-Mobile, I'm sure you have heard that before. Inside joke. Now, when you are looking for or open to feedback, find a way to filter your sources that you gain feedback from. Meaning, if you're about to buy a home, don't tell someone, don't try to get feedback from someone that doesn't own a home, hasn't worked in real estate, doesn't know anything about real estate, and so on and so on. If they've never touched anything surrounding real estate, owning a home, worked in real estate, whatever, you don't want to get feedback from that source. If it comes to children and you're looking for feedback, if you're dealing with someone who has never babysat children, doesn't have a child, doesn't like children, so on and so forth, that's not a person you're going to get feedback from. Learn how to filter who you get your feedback from. And when you filter down your sources, filter them again and take just one or two. Don't take 5 or 10. Even if you know 5 or 10 homeowners, you don't need to talk to all 5 or 10 homeowners. You can talk to 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 and do that. And that's just an example. But the main thing is you don't want too many people in your ear, because what they will do is blur your vision, and you won't be able to make it to your destination in a timely manner when you already had a vision kind of set up. You kind of had your roadmap ready. But then 10, 20 people have all these opinions and offering unsolicited advice, and then your roadmap becomes kind of hazy. Where if you moved in silence and just filtered people, or should I say sources, you would have a more exact route to accomplish your vision. So that's why you don't want to let too many people in your ear. And that is my daily thought. Thank you to everyone who have been supporting, if I can talk today, who have been supporting Keeping It Real with KC. KIRWKC.com is the main podcasting platform. Woo! KIRWKC on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook.com/KIRWKC. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button followed by the notification bell. If you're watching on Daily Motion, you can hit the subscribe button and you will know when I upload new videos. Thank you again to everyone who's been subscribing, who have been listening, who have been supporting, who have been liking, sharing, anything that you have done to support Keeping It Real with KC and the supplement to Keeping It Real with KC, which is my daily thought. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you again, and until next time, be blessed.